Well, I hope y'all can hear me. Way back. Like 4 flats on the Cadillac. Me scoozy. I've been meaning to do this for a minute, really. But either I forget or I get lazy or I don't have the time, whatever. But anyway, since I got some time now, this might take a little while, so I'm gonna just sit here and ramble for a minute. But anybody that knows me know I think a lot. If you don't know me, welcome. I think a lot. That's all I fucking do. Can't really fucking stop the shit. So, because I do, this is one of the things that I think about often. I sit back and watch a lot of people really talk, and it's all really social media, but even in like personal life and shit, you tend to have these conversations as well. But people don't realize it, they don't recognize it, I can't think of the damn word. But basically, it's something that I think about as to, it's like why people would consider that we're so hardwired to want to fuck a whole bunch of chicks. Like, men don't think about shit like that. We just kind of go through life as is, and it is what it is to us for the most part. But our mindset of our being hardwired has a lot to do with where we come from and who we were around when we came from that situation. My personal situation was my oldest cousin, and I don't know why I was listening to that nigga, because he's a fucking bum. But when you a kid, you don't fucking know no better. So as males, a lot of the conversation that we around when we young is the older males telling us, well, you ain't getting no pussy, or you ain't fucking nothing yet, and blah blah blah, so forth and so on. That's usually the conversation that older males have. So in a sense, it's like peer pressure, if you will, from people who you look up to, people who you see as being cool when you are a younger male, and you don't really fucking know no better. So this shit has really been passed down from generation to generation to generation. Like, it's never any consideration as to how far this shit goes, right? So in my thinking, it pretty much came down to, we don't do enough insight within ourselves in order to break the habit. Or, it's not really a generational curse. It's not really a curse. It's just stupidity. Because we don't do no soul searching and no shit like that. Like I said, we just kind of go through life, and it is what it is. And we probably shouldn't. But again, I think, and this is the reason that I do what I do, or don't do what I don't do, when it comes to females and shit like that. When it comes to women, I'm not the type to chase them. I'm not the type to try and wow them, impress them, all for the sake of coochie. Like, I'm just not gonna fucking do that. It's way too much work, effort, energy, and that's probably what led me to start thinking like this, or thinking about why it has been so important for me to feel it necessary to conquer as much pussy as possible. That's a problem within our species. it's basically that we've been hardwired. We've been taught. This whole thing has been programmed within us, damn near probably since birth. It just kind of depends on who you are around. It's just been like, you come into this world. Everybody around you had already had the same thought process, so they teach you the same thought process, and you kind of just follow suit because you think it's right or you think it's normal. And in most cases, to be honest with you, to me, it shouldn't be considered a normality for you to basically be a fucking bloodhound as a male, and only thing that matters to you in life is getting pussy. That's, to me, is a problem. Like, you lose yourself behind that. As with anything else, if you consistently bring yourself to be a person who is consistently focused on anything, really, you tend to bring yourself into doing anything to obtain that. It's the same thing with the thought process of people with money. If you consistently, if your mindset is consistently, well, I gotta get money, I gotta get money, I gotta get money, I gotta get money, it almost becomes to where it doesn't matter what it takes to get it, you're willing to get it. You can see where life has gone in general for people to get money. You can see where life has gone in general for men to conquer pussy. Programming, being taught, being trained is the word that I've been looking for. Being trained to go out and try and find as many women as possible to have sex with is what men are. And that's just really the bottom line of it. That's just as hardcore as I can give it to you. That's as straightforward as I can give you this this bit of information. We've been trained as men to go and do this from older generations. The older generation was trained from another older generation to do the same thing, so forth and so on. And at one point in time, it was like, basically pay attention to the process of life. If you've been around, I'm an 80s baby, so I've been around for a little bit. And in my being around for a little bit, that means that I saw, I was brought up in an era where 60s and 70s things still played a part in life, right? So then it progressed into something else. At one point in time, getting pussy was still a big thing, but it wasn't like it was frowned upon to pay for pussy. In this day and age, the thought process is, it ain't tricking if you got it, which is bullshit, because a trick is a trick. I don't give a fuck how much money you got. But that's not the reason that I'm discussing this at this point. Us being trained to do that, that's literally, most of the males that you're going to come around, I know females don't really know this like that, but the ones that have been raised around a shitload of males know that the conversation at some point is going to go to pussy. That's what it is. So if you got a kid around, a young male who doesn't know no better, that's all he's hearing in the first bits and pieces of his life. And it's probably from somebody that he looks up to, that he thinks is cool, doesn't even realize it, he's just a fucking kid. So it was the same thing, like I said, with me. I was trained to think like this without even realizing that I was being trained to think like this. There's a book that I listen to, and I used to listen to it a lot more regularly than what I do now. Now it's just kind of here and there. But one of the things that stuck out to me in this book that I listened to, it basically states how every human, once they have children or somebody up under them, they teach that generation the ins and outs of society, our society, how to act in public, how to conduct yourself around other people, how to speak to a certain set of people, how to eat, or how to play with people, how to share. You know, it's all about being trained how to do something. We are mammals, right? All humans are mammals. What do you do with most mammals? You train them. Dogs can be trained to do what you want them to do. Horses can be trained to do what you want them to do. I'm not sure if dolphins are considered mammals, but people train dolphins to do what they want them to do. So it's the same thing with us, except the difference is when it comes to males, our training is literally to conquer as much pussy as humanly possible in your entire lifespan. We all have hormones. Duh. Controlling them is never something that you're taught. If you learn how to control your hormones, 8 times out of 10, you learn that shit on your own. Ain't nobody really sat down and talked to you and said, this is how you do this. You get the birds and the bees talk from parents, some parents. The newer generations that's coming up, they probably don't get that talk like that, simply because their parents still want to be kids. Is what it is. So, in knowing that what we do is train the next generation, I mean, I'm guilty of it too. I'm not sitting here acting like I've never done this. But I will say I unknowingly led some people astray. I had to do soul searching, if you will, in order to be able to come to the terms that it's not worth it. I should not be spending my life, my hard-earned income, my anything. I shouldn't have to spend so much effort and energy to try and conquer pussy. Like, it's just not that important. Because it makes me feel no more of a man for sleeping with multiple women. I just, and I don't know if other dudes will disagree with this or not, but this is my show. So I just don't, it's not worth it. I benefit nothing from going out here pursuing a woman just to have sex with her, just to stop talking to her, just to go and repeat the process yet again. Again, I've lived through this already. I've already done this. This shit's not fucking worth it. You tend to become addicted to the situation more than what you realize it. You see it everywhere. Everybody jokes about it, but it's really real. The situation of a bunch of dudes sitting around in the house, tribe, whatever the fuck they at, trying to find hoes, trying to find bitches to come through. That's the whole entire thought process. The entire time these dudes are sitting in this motherfucking I can't even think of the word, setting. The whole thought process is, where the hoes at? How can we get females over here so we can try and have sex with them? That's literally it the entire fucking time. That's just fucking exhausting and time consuming. If we being completely honest about the situation, like, no, I don't like, for one, I'm not a real like people person. For two, I don't like being up around a whole bunch of people. We ain't doing shit. Like what the fuck is we doing? Like, if we was having like, I don't know, a Madden competition, 2K, whatever, some shit like that, that would be cool. But even that would where it's welcome. The only reason in certain situations that I stayed in when I was in those situations is the possibility. It wasn't even a guarantee. It was the possibility that we may be able to get some females to come over. That company. That's what we were gathered there for, like a church sermon in the first place. We all gathered there for vagina. It's almost like we was praising pussy. Like, and That's a problem. After I started thinking about it, I'm like, yo, this is beyond fucking stupid. The effort that I put into that, I could definitely put into something else of being great somewhere else in life, right? And I wouldn't have to deal with that. So it's almost like a drug, an addiction, if you will. We're getting real deep here. I was actually peer pressured into losing my virginity. I'm not gonna say by who, but they know who they are. So I was actually peer pressured into my first sexual experience. Now, I was cool, whatever. Afterwards is where the problem came in. I did not know what I had gotten myself into. Now, the reason that I'm saying this is because I tell my younger siblings, my little brothers mainly, is who I speak to when I'm speaking on this. I tell them that, to be honest with you, it's just not worth the fucking headache. Because you then become a crack addict with no crack involved. After that first fucking sexual experience, that's basically what you can compare it to. Because it's almost like you chasing that first high that you've ever had before. Like that first nut that you got from vagina, that's what you chasing that entire time. And when I think about it, there was no extent that most dudes would not go to in order to complete the fucking mission. That's weird to me. Now that I'm old enough to realize what the fuck is going on. Or what was going on. You driving this place, that place, you calling this person, that person, you sneaking in windows or through back doors and shit, what's the other fucking thing? How damn, I can't even think of how to word this shit. Oh, risking there's a charge for that. And I can't remember what it was. It was like public indecency or some shit like that. But you basically risking catching a charge at a young age and not knowing what the fuck you're doing. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, when you get older, it's a little more erotic and all of that other stuff. Because you know what the fuck you're doing. You know how to get away. You know where to be at, where police not gonna be at. But when you're young and just starting out, you don't fucking know. And nobody tells you this is a good spot, that is a good spot. You basically, it's trial and error. You know what I mean? And you, as a male, you did whatever it took in order to get that. So again, I tell my younger brothers that it's just not fucking worth it. And if you get one of those females who I can't think of the word. Let's just call them abusers. For the sake of me not thinking of a better word in time. But you get one of those abusers who realize that her vagina has power over you, you will be used. At this point, I don't really give a shit. I guess I'm too old to give a fuck. But a lot of us has been in that situation where you, if that's the only person that's willing to have sex with you, that's the person that you're gonna go have sex with. And if they want something, you'll probably go get it. They want to go somewhere, you probably take them there. You won't question that, whatever. It's almost like you go to the ends of earth for pussy. That's a problem. Again, when you're young, you don't fucking know no better. It's not like you in love or no shit like that. You might think you in love, but you fucking not, because you don't really know what love is. You just experiencing some shit that you've never felt before in your life. So it's really misleading. And it's not your fault. It's not our fault when we're at that age just starting out in trying to conquer pussy. It's not. it becomes our fault when we continue to do it in our older age, where our thought process is still the same thing. It's like no matter what it takes to get it, that's what we're going to do. Once you get to a point where that is specifically your goal in life, that's what you wake up and think about, that's what you go to sleep thinking about, or you need to have a different bitch here, there, and everywhere in between during your life, that's a problem. That's when it's your fault. There are married men that fuck up a lot. Naturally, there's women that fuck up a lot too, but I'm not talking about the chicks right now. Y'all get a break for the night. We're talking about the dudes. We all have that. We have all been consistently fed the stigma behind men cheating on women. Probably all of our lives. It's like dudes feel like that's what the fuck they supposed to do or some shit. If you can't control your penis, then just fucking say that. Like, if you can't, then just fucking say it. There's no harm in being honest with yourself. Unless, of course, you're too pussy to be honest with yourself. So that's why I say you really have to think about everything that you've been taught from day one, the type of people that you are around at a very young age. That's all you thought about. That's all you was thinking about. Shit, even when I was in fucking elementary, there was this one kid that's all he fucking talked about. And me and him was friends and shit. You know, at that time, you ain't nothing but what, like 10, 11 years old or some shit like that, maybe. Probably a little bit younger in elementary. I don't fucking remember. Who cares? But there was one kid that talked like that a lot. I still remember dude's name was Randall. Before I met him, I had never cursed before. But it was a peer pressure thing, you know, wanting to look cool and all of that other stuff. And I didn't know how to curse. My mom would have beat the shit out of me had she known anything like that. But that's what he was taught. And I had heard it before, but you know, you don't really think about it like that. So now I'm getting it from two angles. Like I said, I'm getting one side is from my older cousin and the other side is from this dude that I'm calling my friend at the time. Like, I mean, I don't, you don't know shit about nothing. Middle school, progressively worse. Everybody's talking about sex, having sex, this, sex, that. Girls are starting to form more, and the dudes sit there in the back of the class and they talk about, sex. That's all the fuck that they talk about the entire time. That's what the thought process is, because you go home, you got your older brothers, cousins, uncles, that you go around and they telling you, oh boy, you ain't doing nothing yet. You don't even know what to do with something. Like, you always get that type of shit. Nobody's telling you that you shouldn't do no shit like that. Probably except your moms. Or the females on that side, because they probably been used in these situations, and they know better. The dudes, on the other hand, they trying to get you to get pussy as soon as humanly possible. If they can convince you to get it at a younger age, then that's exactly what they'll do. High school, same shit. Naturally, we all know. Shit, that's when you really started seeing the females walking around pregnant, dressing a lot less kitty, if you will. Everything was more sexualized in the high school era for most of us. So every conversation that you're gonna have with dudes, that's pretty much for the most part what y'all talking about. It's not fucking Pokemon, it's not books, it's not Yu-Gi-Oh, it's not some like Family Matters or some shit like that, kid TV shows. It's not none of that. And it's even worse now because kids got access to the fucking internet. And the shit that they see on the internet, the shit that's on the internet is, you know, to be honest, it's just not fucking kids. I mean, the way that I was raised, you don't supposed to see certain shit until you of a certain age. So I don't think it should be for kids, because then you start doing shit. I mean, you get curious, promiscuous, and start wondering how to do this and where that come from and can I do it? What does that feel like? Everybody's talking about it. It must be the best shit in the fucking world. It's not fucking worth it. I'm just being honest. So now, because I've delivered this message, I really feel like most dudes need to start really thinking about why it is that they feel it necessary to just fuck a bunch of bitches. Because I don't find it necessary. I don't think it's... I no longer feel that it is a necessity. That it's something that I have to do in order to prove my masculinity to friends or otherwise. I don't gotta prove shit to nobody. You know, knowing what I'm capable of, knowing who I am. A lot of us don't have the right male figure in our lives. A whole bunch of fucked up individuals training the sponges, which is the younger generation, to be older, fucked up individuals. And it's not cool. At some point, somebody's got to stop it. It's like a protection thing. Because you fucked up, naturally you shouldn't want somebody that's younger than you to go through the same bullshit that you went through. Being taught wrong. Especially when you realize that you've been taught wrong. You're supposed to correct that shit. So this is me basically telling y'all to correct that shit. I've been like this for a while. That's the reason that I talk the way that I do. It's the reason I walk the way that I do, carry myself the way that I do. Because once you realize that pussy is not as worth what people proclaim it to be, a lot of that shit don't bother you no more. It actually becomes annoying. The shit that you see, like, everybody showing, shaking ass. All right, cool, yeah, I'm a dude. I'm still attracted to the flesh. But that shit don't move me like that no more. You know what I mean? Like, it just don't. Sure, I could go out there and have sex with a whole bunch of different females, but why? What do I gain from this besides the possibility of a fucking STD or a kid with some chick that I don't want? I don't want that. That's way too fucking risky for me. Some people really be right there on the fucking edge and they deal with that shit. But I'm not that guy. I'm not gonna put myself in a position to basically be a fucking failure or an idiot to end up stuck with somebody who I don't know or I don't like. That's just stupid to me. I can't do anything with that because now I'm gonna be mad every fucking day because I'm stuck with somebody that I can't fucking stand. Does that make any sense to anybody besides me? I don't know. If it doesn't, then you should really evaluate your thought process and your life. Because a lot of this shit that we be doing in life is easily avoidable. My favorite saying is, life is about decisions. I say this all the time. I say this to people, anybody that I come into contact with problems and blah, 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 so forth and whatnot. Life is about decisions. Everything that you do depicts the next thing that happens in your life. There's a reason why I don't got no kids. I'm not about to just... I could. I really could. But I told myself years ago I will no longer use my powers for evil. And that's literally how I worded it. But it's just me. Like, there's no purpose in me doing that same shit. It's exhausting. It's time consuming, as I've said before. And it can be expensive. One way or another, you're gonna spend money. But I'm just not. No, thank you. So that's why we are the way that we are. Us older ones, it's now our fault that the younger ones are coming up in that aspect. They're only going to do what they've been taught. They're only going to do what they've been trained to do. They're only going to do what they know to do, what they think is cool to do, what somebody said is the right thing to do. Because none of us come in this world knowing anything. We learn from our surroundings. That's why my younger ones know better. It's up to us, man. I can take it how you want. I'm just a messenger. If you don't like it, shoot. You know.